Hold on, let me get some out. Hello? Hello? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Is that you, Jose? Hey, man, how's it going? Man, tell Jesus we said hello. Tell Jesus we said hi. I love it. I love it. Man, you tell Bishop, man, we got another show, man.
I'm sorry, say it again.
We can't say nothing about it on the show tonight, but I'm just excited, man. I'm sorry, man. All right. I'm not gonna say nothing, man. Dude, man, the Lord rained down mad blessings, man. You be wanting to testify. Jesus, like, no, don't go and tell anyone. Okay, Jesus, I won't. He just blessed me.
Yeah, we go share it for sure.
Well, we all have big mouths for the Lord.
Absolutely.
Man. So, Bishop, you're from Chicago?
No, from Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. I don't know anybody named Dayton. I got a friend in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland's not far from me. You get to Cleveland much?
No, man, I haven't been like midway since that's about maybe 8-9 years. I was in I was in Michigan actually at the time I went. But no, I got a friend in Detroit. Not to the Midwest, man. You know,
okay.
Not to the Midwest, man. And I don't travel that much, I don't think, but I probably do. That kind of thing.
You don't say you don't think, but you probably do.
Man, you know how it goes. You know, because I don't think I travel a lot, man. I mean, I don't do meetings or nothing like that. You know, so I'm not always in the air like you guys are. I'm pretty much boots on the ground doing stuff, man. And
getting in an airplane right now is a supernatural experience, man.
Well, you got greater faith.
I see the trepidation on, man. Look like, is that a great? Just one just pop out when you said that?
You got greater faith. You got greater faith.
And I wanted to drive, but the Lord told me to fly, and I couldn't figure out why in the world He was telling me to fly until my connection back into Cincinnati. And I end up sitting next to a prophet who just moved to Cincinnati and was telling me how God had told them that revival is getting ready to come to the city. I said, okay, now I understand why I had to be on this plane.
But if it wasn't for that,
it didn't make sense to me. So I figured that God was just going to give me credit for being obedient, because it sure didn't make sense to me.
We got 1 minute before we go live.
Okay.
On the radio.
Ohio.
1 minute.
Yeah. Oh, boy, excuse me. Man. It's the end of Sunday.
Now, Bishop, you knew my friend, the late Alexis Thomas?
Very much so.
Man, that hurt me when he passed.
Yeah, we were in full gospel together, and
That was my buddy.
I was
I did.
just thinking
What's the
about
name?
him
Ordain you too?
yesterday.
Oh, here we go. We starting now. We'll pick it up later. And located at 4113 Telegraph Avenue in Oakland, California. Visit their website at www.harmonymdc.org. Visit them on Facebook at Harmony MD Church or on Instagram at Harmony MDC. Donations are always welcome and help to keep this radio ministry alive. You can donate by going to Givelify on your smartphone or on their Facebook page. Thank you for listening to Harmony Missionary Baptist Church. Tune in every Sunday morning for Morning Manna at 7 a.m. and Sunday evening at 6 p.m. on KEST 1450 and on the web at kestradio.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the One More Time broadcast brought to you by the Harmony Church. Let me just put this up here so you can hear that. Brought to you by the Harmony Church, 4113 Telegraph Avenue. And we're grateful that we're able to come to you one more time. Yep, one more time. One more time broadcast. And so we pray tonight that you had a blessed Sunday, that you had a great week. We are ecstatic to come to you tonight. I don't know about you, but personally, it feels like the weight is off, but the work is on. I'll say it that way. The weight is off, but the work is definitely on. And so we want to be able to come and just share tonight like we always do. We're grateful to have with us our guests all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio, from the Faith Inspirational. Am I saying that right?
It's just Inspirational Bible Church.
Inspirational Bible Church. That in the person of Bishop Cousins is on our call tonight and on our Facebook Live. Bishop Cousins, will you say hello to the people this evening?
Hello, everybody. I am so ebullient and overjoyed to be with you all on this evening, and we greet you in divine joy.
Thank you, Bishop Cousins. And always, if Laverne had Shirley, if Skarsky had Hutch, if Tonto had the Lone Ranger, if Fred had Lamont, man, I'm Batman, and you know who Robin is. Robin, say hello tonight to you folk.
Oh, yeah. If peanut butter had jelly, if coconuts had cake, yes. On this show, Batman would have Robin. Hello out there to everyone in KEST Radio Land 1450 on your AM dial. My name is Curtis O. Robinson Sr., the senior pastor at the Faith Church here in Central East Oakland, California. That's right, I said Oakland. That is where the Vice President-elect of the United States of America is from, the soil, the indigenous parts of Oakland. It's just good to be here with you tonight, and good to be here with the intellectual and spiritual Bishop Victor Cousins.
I think we're in time for a great show tonight, family and friends, and what better day to come and have, if you will, this time to share as we do once a week. And after the news we got on yesterday, it's a good day to be on the radio and on Facebook.
Dude, so, did you see Van Jones crying, man? Did you see that, Bishop?
Yeah, I saw that.
I was kind of moved, man. I really was, man. I really was.
I want to start off like I always do. You know, we are in, I believe, week 32 of this pandemic, this shelter in place. And Bishop Cousins, I always just start off this dialogue for the night by just asking personally, when this pandemic hit, how did it affect you? Were you traveling? Were you on the road? Were you, process of doing ministry and on your way back away from home? Or can you just share, what your setting was at that time when you got the news, and then how you responded to it, and You know, I'm sure none of us thought that it would last this long, but how it has affected you just personally.
Yeah. Well, I was actually here in my office at the church when we started receiving calls and getting news bulletins that our governor was going to be probably making an announcement that he was going to be sending the state into quarantine. Leading up to that, I'd heard about the coronavirus and COVID-19, but my knowledge of it was, I'm sure, just as limited as everyone else's knowledge of it. So I was actually a little surprised when I started hearing that we were going to be under some kind of stay-at-home order, even though I had friends in other states that their states had already moved that way. So one of my elders works in the governor's office, and I was able to contact him, and he was really able to bring me up to speed concerning what it was that we were facing wide scale across the state. So that's the micro level of where I was. From a macro standpoint, our church was just getting ready to enter into a revitalization phase, and we were putting together our revitalization team. I had just applied to get a graduate certificate from a university in church revitalization. And so we were right at the cusp of getting ready to go into revitalization mode from a macro level when COVID hit. Thank God we were still able to execute the beginning of our revitalization plan, but it has certainly caused us to redefine how we approach ministry. It has caused us to reconsider the things that we have ascribed as value in ministry. It has made us take a look at our leadership model and our discipleship model as well. And I don't think there's been a part of our ministry that has, in some way or another, not been influenced by COVID. The other side of it, though, is it has put a greater demand on our church to be more involved in the community. So we are a part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Farmers and Family Food Box Program, giving out over 2,000 boxes of fresh produce and dairy every week. We eventually became an ongoing testing site. So our church is one of the only ongoing testing sites in Greater Cincinnati where people can come and get free COVID testing, no insurance, no copay, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we have been able to bring that relationship together through the University of Cincinnati Health Services. And we also have a mental health agency that we have then since partnered with to provide mental health resources and support for free, again, to the community at large. So it certainly has been challenging, but it at the same time has really helped us to narrow what it is that our focus should be and how we should go about executing our focus as well.
That's great. That's great. Go ahead, Kurt.
All right, Ed, are you still getting the echo on me?
Just a little bit.
All right, my the volume on my phone, this is as low as I get it to go. I don't know why.
Okay.
Oh, maybe if I put it on mute.
Yeah, do it.
We're not radio technicians, really, are we? Bishop Cousins, man, you first of all, congratulations on your 20th year anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, man. You're there, you're doing your work. Man, you have an exciting ministry. How has this COVID environment, you think, affected, like your congregation, your people? How are they doing, through this particular dilemma?
Well, we have a generationally diversified church. So we've got babies and infants in arms, like they would say, all the way up to people in their 90s and all generations and age groupings in between. But it has nevertheless been challenging. It has been challenging. I think it's been challenging for different reasons for our senior members. Unfortunately, some seniors, there are only a few places a week they're going to, the grocery store, the doctor's office, and church. And you take any one of those dynamics from them, and it really can create a hole in their life for the level of social engagement that they need. And of course, they have to be wise and prudent about their health. From the other perspective, generationally, kids who are learning virtually from home, we've seen the impact on them. Our seniors in high school, some of whom graduated and were expecting to be on a college campus and having the full college experience. Some of them are in cyber learning environments as well. Entrepreneurs who really were trusting and counting on 2020 to be the year that they were going to be able to galvanize in their entrepreneur endeavors. Some of their plans have either been put in abeyance or thwarted or had to be severely revisited and restructured. So it has been challenging, but what we have tried to do is we've tried to maintain a high level of contact with our saints. And as a pastor, I've tried to create additional touch points with our church as well. So since COVID, I've started sending a text prayer out every morning to our members, and they know the prayer, they know the number to text to get enrolled in that. So we start sending out a daily prayer text message. We used to have prayer on Thursdays at 7 a.m. and noon, where we added an additional prayer time to 7 p.m. on Thursday as well. And one of the most impactful things I've done to try to stay in touch with our people is I added a sermon discussion every Sunday evening. So every Sunday evening at 6 o'clock, our church gathers on Zoom and on our prayer line, and we just discuss the sermon. And I give a very, very brief Reader's Digest version of the sermon. I open up the lines and they talk about what they wrote in their notes, and they get to ask questions and make comments. And so if you can imagine the old school Baptist church Sunday school review, and bring that over into a sermonic setting. And because I usually preach in series, it's kind of easier for our church to anticipate what message is coming next. So like now I'm in a series on the armor of God. Prior to that, I was in a series on the model prayer. And I found that being more intentional about series preaching so that the congregation can kind of keep up with where the Sunday lesson is going to be has served us well. But adding that Sunday evening sermon discussion, and I facilitate it. I'm laughing with them. I'm loving on them. I'm taking their questions. I'm answering their questions, clarifying parts of the sermon that perhaps they missed or that they didn't fully grasp. I use a lot of scriptures when I teach. And so sometimes they'll have questions about how this scripture relates to that or what have you. So it has definitely revolutionized at least my leadership approach, and I'm sure the leadership approach of others. And the next book I write is actually going to be Lessons Learned the Hard Way, the leadership edition, because what I've come to discover is that new situations require new skills. And as long as we can keep our skills in line with the situation, then we will always be seen as both valuable and relevant.
That's extremely well said. Thank you very much. So can I get one more in here?
Go ahead.
Batman. So I'm looking at this collegiate map. Am I echoing?
Yeah, still a little bit.
Yeah. All right. This collegiate. This electoral college, right?
Electoral college.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the state of Ohio. Right. How much more work you got to do?
Well, let me say this. It was not Hamilton County.
Okay.
So Hamilton County is where our church is at. And Hamilton County is solid blue. We had some good people who were running for office in Hamilton County who were Republicans.
That's it. Sure enough. You're right. Yeah, you're right, Perk. Go ahead, boy.
And I talked to a guy who was running for public office, and he's a Republican, good guy. I wanted him to win. And he said, man, I lost because of Trump. He said, if it hadn't been for Trump, I wouldn't have lost. But we do have some work to do in Ohio. Of course, we've got a lot of major cities in Ohio, but we actually have a lot of rural areas in Ohio as well. I will say that Biden was able to close the gap in Ohio more so than Hillary Clinton had closed the gap. And he defied the odds. No Republican has ever succeeded to the White House without Ohio. And very few Democrats have succeeded to the White House without Ohio. So Biden and Kamala Harris were able to defy the odds when it comes to Ohio. But we've got some work to do in Ohio. Economically, we've got some work to do. We have a lot of cities in Ohio that have been laid waste because of the change in the automotive industry. The city I'm from, Dayton, was built on General Motors. Toledo, Ohio was built on General Motors. And when the automotive industry changed and pulled out of those two cities in particularly, there was no industry there to replace the industry that was withdrawn. So we've got some economic work to do. We've got some justice work to do. We know that before we had Ferguson, and this is, nothing to be proud of, but before we had Ferguson, before we had Sanford, before we had where Freddie Gray was from, we had Cincinnati, Ohio, Timothy Thomas, Roger Owensby, killed right here in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati actually ended up becoming the blueprint for collaborative agreements between cities and police departments, and served as a model for many years. So there is definitely a lot of work to do on the ground in Cincinnati. And we are hopeful and optimistic that we're going to be able to continue to make those inroads.
Excellent. Thank you.
Man, well said. Well said. I want to just kind of hear what the climate or atmosphere is, our temperature is. Not the temperature literally, because we know it's cold in Ohio. We do know that. But however, what mood are the churches in? Here in California, some because of CDC regulations within the last few weeks or so, some are beginning to go back. Some, like myself and Pastor Kurt, we have already said we probably won't go back till after the first of the year. How are things looking, if you will, from from Ohio's look? That's one of the joys that we have about having such a good variety of guests, because we have had people from all across the country, and it's always different, different regulations with every state, every city. And, some of our listeners might get upset if y'all are going back to church, but where is Ohio at this time? And if you're not, what are your plans with your church that you lead?
So Ohio is a very pro-church state. We are the only state in the union that has a scripture as our state motto. And our state motto is, with God, all things are possible. So no other state in the union has a scripture as their state motto. And so it's a very pro-church state. When our governor set out to put guidelines in place to keep us safe, he left it up to the discretion of each individual church about whether they would meet, how they would meet. He suggested strongly that we limit the time that we would be gathering, and that we would limit the number of people that we would be gathering with. But there was never an edict or prohibition against churches in the state of Ohio from meeting. So to that degree, it was really left up to each individual church. Some churches decided not to meet. Some churches decided to continue to meet, and some churches are just getting back to meeting. Our church, particularly, we've been meeting the whole time. There's not been a Sunday in COVID that we have not been in this building. But of course, we're fortunate enough to have the seating capacity to where you can get 300 or 400 people in our sanctuary and spread them out very easily, because our sanctuary holds about 1,600 people. Early on, we were doing the temperature checks. Early on, we were requiring face masks. Now, initially, for about the first 6 weeks or so, we asked only our platform participants to come. So my singers, the musicians, pastoral staff. But even in doing that, every week we would have 1 or 2 people to slip in. And people said, look, we just need to be in the house of the Lord. So we let them come in. We did the social distancing. Now we are still encouraging people to watch online as much as possible, especially because the numbers are going up. Just a couple of days ago, 120,000 new diagnosed cases. But we do have quite a few people that still come out. We're doing the social distancing. We're doing the temperature checks. We're doing the hand sanitizing. We're getting names, phone numbers, email addresses to do contact tracing. And thank God, by the grace of God, it has worked. It's worked very well for us. And pound for pound per capita, our numbers in Ohio have been high, but not as high as areas with states who have a similar size population. And I really credit that to our people on the ground that very early began to communicate with us, and they took the steps that were necessary to try to protect us as a whole. And of course, we've had people who have unfortunately succumbed to COVID-19, but most of the people that have been diagnosed with it have been able to recover from it. But we've been meeting the whole time.
Wow, that's awesome. And I guess not only is it awesome, but you've been able to still keep that connection of fellowship together.
Yeah, and it's necessary. My heart goes out to people who are only doing it behind a camera, only doing it virtually, the psychological impact, the social impact, even the spiritual impact of it. I think it gives us a renewed appreciation for the wisdom of God, who tells us in Hebrews, let us not forsake the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is. And yet we know we have to follow God in faith, and we also have to follow God in wisdom. And faith and wisdom have to be held in tandem. And sometimes they're held in tension one with the other, but we've got to do our best to exercise faith and exercise wisdom. I tell people, I've got the faith that God will heal me if I get hit by a car, but I got the wisdom to look both ways before I cross the street.
Right.
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 Can I jump in here and ask you a question?
Let me get one more.
Go ahead.
You mentioned Ohio.
Yes.
Never had the privilege to go yet. However, whenever I hear Ohio, the first name I think of is the late Dr. Charles Booth.
Yes.
Can you just say something about him? I mean,
he has such a revered legacy here, even now. And he wasn't just, his ministry wasn't only in Ohio, it was right here in Cincinnati.
Wow.
Here in Cincinnati. Of course, he was the founder of the Progressive Baptist Convention. His son, for years, served as one of the stellar and outstanding leaders on the Cincinnati City Council. His son is still one of the major entrepreneurs and philanthropists in this city. His grandson, Paul Booth, is a pastor here in the city. Phenomenal church, phenomenal ministry, doing amazing things. So his family, in my estimation, is doing a tremendous job at carrying out his legacy. And Dr. Booth is one of the great of many giants that came through Cincinnati. We've got Dr. Booth. We had Pastor Fred Shuttlesworth, who was right there on the front lines of the civil rights movement.
Right.
We had Dr. Otis Moss, who again, right there on the front lines of the civil rights movement, even going back to the days of William Seymour. People that studied the life of Bishop William Seymour and the Azusa Street revivals that broke out in California, people that study his life know that he came through Cincinnati and was actually mentored and trained in Cincinnati for a little while. And the same is with many of the pioneers of the Great Awakening. So Cincinnati has always played, and not just Cincinnati, but Ohio, period, has always played a critical role in political things, in social things, in spiritual things, and even in civil rights matters as well. The Underground Railroad came right here through Ohio, right here on the Ohio River. So it's a beautiful place to be in, and it's an amazing city to serve God from.
Yeah. So I think of Dr. Charles Booth when I hear Ohio, but I cannot think of the late Dr. Charles Booth without thinking about Union. Tell me about Union.
Union Baptist Church. You know your history when it comes to Ohio. Union Baptist Church. The Dr. Orlando Yates is the eminent leader there. They are the oldest Black church I know for sure in Greater Cincinnati, and they may even be the oldest Black church in the state of Ohio as a whole. We have evidence that remnants of the Underground Railroad ran through the property that Union Baptist Church now sits on. Again, another church doing amazing things and continuing to live out their legacy. I got to Inspirational because of Union Baptist Church. Wow. The guy that is the minister of music at Union Baptist Church told me about Inspirational. It was in Inspirational Baptist Church 21 years ago. We were taking English together at Cincinnati Christian University, and I inquired of him about available churches in Cincinnati, and he told me about Inspirational, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I might not be here from this office with you all right now were it not for Union Baptist Church.
Wow, that's rich. Go ahead, Kurt.
Man, that's awesome. It was in Toledo, Ohio. We were talking earlier. It wasn't Michigan. It was in Toledo, Ohio, and I actually did a revival for Kevin Johnson at a Third Baptist in Toledo, another old church, right? And I saw the 1831 Union Baptist. So Pastor Cousins, I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Has your involvement with COVID testing, do you think given you more of a learning curve in terms of how this virus is operating and negotiating the world?
I don't think it's posed a learning curve for me per se, only because if my wife were here, she's gonna tell you that I watch CNN, MSNBC, all the news stations on a daily basis.
What else, right?
If I'm not watching the news, I'm reading the news on my phone, and so I try to really stay up to speed with, particularly with things that have the potential to have far-reaching impact. And our governor has held several calls with state clergy, providing us with information. I have some of the counties and city healthcare workers and people that are part of our health district here that are part of our church. So they've done a great job at keeping me in the loop. Our city set it up to where every pastor in Cincinnati could sign up to receive COVID testing numbers on a daily basis. So we get those emails every day. So I tried to position myself to stay in the know and to stay in the path of communication about COVID. Of course, we know much more about it now than we knew when it first started, but there's still some things about it that, of course, are still very elusive to us. But I've really tried to stay as well read as I possibly could, as attentive as I possibly could, and in the know as I possibly could about it. And I've got friends who are physicians and others who are connected to physicians. And so I have an opportunity to share with them and have conversation with them about how they were watching the virus, mutate, and how even people that were getting the virus but were asymptomatic sometimes still went on later to have, and are still going on sometimes later to have, respiratory challenges and other issues and challenges. So I have really, really tried to stay in the know and in the loop when it comes to this pandemic.
That's good. He gets email, Park. You got one from the mayor or from Gavin Newsom?
Listen, daily. He said daily.
Every day.
That's what I said, dude. It's like, what's up?
Daily.
Yeah.
I have to search and get my
day.
news.
Yeah, every day. And I think that's the responsible thing, because I think that anybody that has oversight and has to make decisions for large groups of people, not only do they need to be in the know, but they need to be a part of the conversation as well. There's only so much that state officials and local officials know and are able to identify about how churches and organizations are run. So they need the input of the church. They need to know how it's impacting the church. And then on the other side of it, we need the information and the data and the resources that they have as well. But in our area, on a state level, on a local level, I really have to say that I would really have to tip my hat to the persons who are in positions of influence and information about this, because they've been very, very liberal with the information that they have.
All right, we're gonna take a break real quick. Jose, take us out if you would, and we'll be right back. This is the One More Time broadcast, 4113, brought to you by the Harmony Church, Oakland, California. Jose, take us out, please.
Ms. C Productions, media service and more.
Great job, Bishop. You're doing well.
I'm glad to be here with y'all.
Doing well.
Yeah, man. There's some good stuff you guys doing there in Ohio.
You all are not getting information?
Huh?
You all are not getting information?
No.
I get mine, man. Man, I look at the same channel. I like, CNBC, MSNBC, Fox. I watch Fox, CNN.
Follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, and I got a good friend who's the chief of emergency at UCSF Medical Center. He sends us the latest stuff from the San Francisco Health Department, Alameda County. And he's pretty, we're handling it pretty good, man. San Francisco, man, it's like the rate of infection is very low. Very low. I think we've had 140 deaths in San Francisco. So the Bay Area has lots.
How long have you all been doing this show?
After looking at liberation,
30 weeks.
No, 32 episodes. This is our 32nd episode. This is our 33rd.
It's not.
So this was birthed out of COVID.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
We got some great news that we gonna share
510-544-3333.
Soon.
We might share it tonight. I don't think Kirk.
Like a tickle. Tickle.
There's no water in there.
You check? Greetings and blessings of our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. One more time broadcast of the Harmony Missionary.
Yeah, man.
29 weeks. It's 29.
It's 29?
29.
Yep, like the guy from Stanford said, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste.
What is that? That's the Japanese word, Chinese word, right? It means danger and opportunity.
Crisis in the East is opportunity.
It means danger too.
Does it mean danger?
I mean both, yeah. What a Chinese
Okay. Yeah, I used to hear it at these meetings, man. You know what? In China, a crisis is an opportunity. It means get it, dude. You put it on, man. You was like, one more time. I was like, oh, he played it. Ah! He played it.
I played it.
You played it. You played it.
That was always my vision anyway.
645 teachers preparation.
Man, you know what? I wish we had that tape from 1982 at Bethany when Cos preached how to handle a midnight situation.
I bet you his wife got it.
You know what? You right.
She said she had masters.
1982, dude.
Welcome
Bethany.
Back to the One More Time broadcast, brought to you by the Harmony Church, 4113 Telegraph Avenue in the great city of Oakland. We are here having a great discussion tonight with our friend and brother all the way from Cincinnati. From Ohio. Yeah, Bishop Victor Cousins is sharing with us tonight, and he has been blessing us, really just throwing down, and we're grateful to have him. And we pray you, the listening audience, have been able to be blessed from what he's been sharing. I want to start this second half off, and I would love to hear Bishop Cousins. Just what are your feeble thoughts about this past election?
Wow. Well, if you went to, well, let's see, let's back up. In 2016, y'all know I was slammed to the mat because I accepted an invitation to go to Trump Tower and meet with then candidate Trump. So he was billing this as 100 black pastors are coming to Trump Towers. They're going to meet with me and they're going to endorse me. So when I received the invitation, I was not told that it was for the purposes of endorsing, that he just wanted to talk to us, get our understanding about the needs for the black community. So I went, and coming out of that meeting, then I said to every news outlet that interviewed me, I said it to CNN, I said on the Roland Martin show, Tom Joyner show, MSNBC, Fox, I said it to all of them. Donald Trump is not the problem. It's the system behind Donald Trump. That is the problem. You can take him out, but he could easily be replaced because there clearly is something going on with the electorate that is helping to give rise and momentum to someone such as Donald Trump. And I said this then, if America is not careful, Donald Trump is going to become the president. And he went on to become the president. It wasn't because I endorsed him, wasn't because I supported him, but I discerned that America as an electorate were moving somewhere else. Well, fast forward now, here we are. On my Facebook page on July the 20th, if you guys went to my Facebook page, as a matter of fact, I shared it again last night, but I originally posted it on July 20th. And in the share, you can see it was originally posted July 20th. I said, Donald Trump is going to lose the election and the Supreme Court is going to have to serve him an eviction notice to get him to move out of the White House. And that he is not going to cooperate, or his staff, with the new administration's transition plan. God gave me that on July the 20th. And of course, now we're seeing it come to pass. So it didn't surprise, none of this is surprising to me. I'm not surprised at Trump's reaction. I'm not surprised that Biden and Harris won. I'm not surprised that it took, 3 nights and a day in order for us to get to an answer or a resolution. So none of it surprises me. I am hopeful, though. Oh, my goodness. I am hopeful. I'm hopeful and optimistic, though, that he lives up to his promises. It was Black people, and particularly Black women, that gave Biden the momentum that he needed to even succeed to becoming the 46th president of the United States. His campaign was all but dead until Mr. Jim Clyburn vouched for him in South Carolina. Mr. Clyburn refuses to take credit for it. He says that the credit goes to a lady at his church who asked him about Joe Biden and what she thought about Joe Biden. And when he shared, thank you so much. And when he shared it with her, she told him, you need to share this with others. We need to hear this. And then he went out and made a public statement. So I hope he lives up to his promises, and I hope he makes good on his agenda. They have a transition website up now. And on his transition website, he says that he's going to focus on the coronavirus, climate change, racial equality, and there's a fourth one. Coronavirus, climate change, economic recovery, and racial equality. So we'll see what's going to happen. Much of it's going to depend legislatively on who actually gets control of the Senate. Because if Mitch McConnell and them are in control of the Senate again, then we're going to have probably 4 years of Biden having to do much of what he wants to do through executive order. And we know that there's only so much that the president can do through executive order. Some of this stuff has to come through legislation. It's going to be interesting to see how he stacks his cabinet. I heard today on the radio that he's looking at making Bernie Sanders the Secretary of Labor. My understanding is that there's some conversation about providing space for Stacey Abrams and others. And I think those are wonderful ideals. My concern is if we take all of our progressive people from the front lines, if we pull all of our progressive senators out of the Senate, if we pull all of our progressive grassroots leaders like Stacey Abrams and others from doing the work on the ground, who's going to replace them? How are we going to sustain the momentum that we already have going if all of those people are then transitioned into a Biden administration? And I'm not saying they don't deserve a shot, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't serve there. I'm simply saying if they're going to serve there, we need to have some strong successors in place to make sure that the work that they're being called from can continue on.
Great. That's well said. I was hoping that you wouldn't, you would give a piece of it and then come right back. Can you talk about this right here? Can you talk about that?
Sure. So as most people, not most, but yeah, as most people know, for about 18 months, I went through a very challenging ordeal, much of which was played out in the public. And so this book was born out of that season of adversity and that season of challenge. The book is not a rebuttal. The book is not a defense. The book is not a clapback. The book is not even an explanation of the season. The book is actually the revelation that the Lord allowed me to come into as a result of having gone through the season. I tried to write the book for everybody that has experienced any kind of personal setback in any way whatsoever, public or private. And be it a career setback, be it relational misfortune, be it a health setback, any kind of setback imaginable. I really tried to write this book in a way to provide people with the resources and the insight that they might want to consider and hold fast to if they ever find themselves in a situation where they need to regroup, where they need to recover, where they need to restart, and or where they need to rebuild and reposition themselves. So it just came out about 10 days ago. So it's just 10 days off the press. And so far the response has been phenomenal. It's in the top 100 in its categories on Amazon. We just recently got it up on Barnes and Nobles, and you can get it also through my website, which is victorcousins.com. And I really strongly believe in the message of the book, and I am overwhelmed at the positive response that it has been receiving. And I know that your co-host has it because he and I chatted about it briefly when we were queuing up for the show. And not only does he have it, but he's reading it. I not only want people to get it, but I really want people to read it. It's only 11 chapters, less than 150 pages. It's really something you can get through in a weekend. I've had people to call me and tell me that they're reading it kind of slow because they're taking a lot of notes and they're processing and they're thinking about stuff. And this coming Wednesday, I'm actually going to start a series of online group discussions around the book. And for several weeks, I'm going to take one chapter at a time and just lead online book discussions for those that will be interested in participating in that.
Well, Lady Cousins is hooking us up. She's posting in the comments.
She's going to do that. She's going to make sure you do not have an excuse to not get that book.
We are
My wife is going to make sure she pushes her dude stuff.
We give a shout out to Lady Cousins tonight for being on the administrative team, helping out. Go ahead, Kurt.
Great. So we talked about the book a little bit. I got to know Kindle was on my phone here. And let me say, by the way, I could tell my age, right? Because when Perkins was going, when I think of Ohio, you know who I think about? I thought he was going to say the Ohio players and Sugarfoot. I was like, oh, I'm telling my age now.
I was waiting on Ohio players or Bootsy Collins or something like that.
Skit. All right. But look, man, first of all, it's a good book. Okay.
I appreciate the compliment.
And I like to read. And I've read chapter 1. They tell you read chapter 1, it's going to kind of nail it for you. You can kind of get through it, right? But I can tell that you're a well-read brother. I could tell that, right? Let's just get to just a couple of things, right? All right. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Niski, right? Now he said it. Give us what eyeballs did you see that through in your book? Why'd you put it in there?
Purpose. I see that through the lens of purpose, that when we have a why, that it enables us to harness the stamina that we need to endure anything, to get through anything, to confront anything, to challenge anything, to deal with anything. But it has to find its root and purpose. There's a guy by the name of Simon Sinek who has an entire book that just deals with why. And it's, the name of the book is actually Start With Why. Simon Sinek, phenomenal book. And the whole premise of the book is the importance of understanding, the importance of purpose, the importance of value, the importance of clarity. Sometimes people meander in the wilderness of life because they are not able to assign purpose to whatever season it is that they are facing. And then other times people miss what could be an incredible launching pad because they don't respect purpose and they're not able to identify the why in something that may be unappealing to them. I tell my sons this all the time, and not just my sons, but my daughters as well. When I ask them and have conversation with them about what do you believe God is calling you to, and what do you see yourself doing in life, and we have these discussions about what they believe God is calling them to and what it is that they want to do in life. And I say to them, now, in the process of that, on your way to that, you might work at McDonald's, you might wash cars, you might have a lemonade stand, you might work at Denny's, you may clean rooms in a hotel. And sometimes they say, well, why would I do that if something else is my goal? And I tell them that sometimes God doesn't take us directly to the thing. Sometimes he takes us to the thing that leads to the thing. And so the ability to find purpose and why in everything will serve us immensely, even if it's uncomfortable, if it seems unfair, if it seems mundane, if it seems like it's a waste of time. But being able to assign purpose and being able to see purpose in every season, in every situation, and in every setting of our lives will give us the sure footing that we need to go from grace to grace and glory to glory. And it keeps us focused as well.
I like that. Let me hit one more thing because you got some great images in here, right?
Images in my book?
Yeah, driving under the influence.
Oh, yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
So that's in chapter 1. And in chapter 1, the title of chapter 1 is, don't run red lights, or the danger of running red lights. And so without giving it all away, because I want the others to buy the book, but I talk about how in life we get these warning signs and we get these caution signals. And it's up to us to make sure that we are being attentive enough to our journey to not disrespect or overlook the warning signs and the caution symbols that God is giving us. And just like it's possible to be driving under the influence naturally and find ourselves off course, or worse than that, find ourselves in a collision, the same is possible mentally and emotionally. And some of the things that we are sometimes under the influence of in life are things like shame, jealousy, pride, ego, selfishness. All of those things are oftentimes competing to be the dominant persuasive factor in our lives. And when we are aware of how they are trying to rob us of the sober-mindedness that we need, then again, we have the sure-footedness that we have to have in life if we're going to not cross boundaries and disrespect lines that should be respected and honored.
That's great. That's great. I have more about Dr. Perkins.
Man, this is rich. I'm sitting here like taking notes, like we always do.
Yeah.
Robin, you ain't gonna believe this statement I'm about to make. it's about to, it might blow you off the back of your chair.
Come on.
Don't this brother sound like he can say it? He can preach.
You know what? Why you do that to me, man? He
Listen,
set me
hold
up.
on, hold on.
Set me up.
You know we love intelligent preachers.
I know, dude.
But listen. Don't he sound like he can say it though? I mean,
Yeah, he do, man.
Man, I'm just
he
like
does. He does.
crazy.
I'm sorry, he does.
Guess who?
Are you?
Guess who?
Do
you hear what I'm saying? Guess who he knows?
Who?
Bishop Greg Payton, and he never brought him.
Oh, you trying to start some mess?
No. I preached for Peyton many times.
No. You preach for Peyton. You
Right.
preach for Peyton, but you ain't preached for the citywide revival.
No, that I have not.
Yeah, I thought that would happen.
Y'all start a petition.
Listen, it's a long line.
and I'll help circulate the petition. I preach for Perkins. I preach for Peyton so many times. And every time I preach out there, I tease him, especially if I preach him on Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights, and did revivals and stuff. And I always tell him when I preach for him in the evening, I'm like, man, this feels like a New Year's Eve service because Peyton believes in having church. And so, service started at 7. I'm getting up to preach at 9:30.
Yes.
My body is saying,
right in for
12:30. Say it again.
Dude.
You would have fit right in for citywide.
hey, Perkins, I got Bernstein. Bernstein is live on Zoom.
What?
And I ain't got him plugged in. I wish I got to find my little headset.
What?
It's funny because okay, so Bishop Cousins, we have so much fun, man. It's like right. This is the part that we love, right? But man, look, you talked about BTU. Did you hear him?
He said Reader's Digest, though. You can't skip over the Reader's Digest. Only a few people know about Reader. The Reader's Digest is like TV Guide. Come on, man.
Man, that's a straight to me, that's like a straight concept, like a redo, like a remix, right? And you just gave me an idea.
That's
right?
innovative. That's innovative.
And that makes us reach out this world of technology that we have. Like I got Bernstein over here on this screen. I got you on this screen. For the mess when I'm going to invite them to the after party, right? Pastor Cousins, how has technology really shaped and helped you to form your thoughts going forward for ministry?
Well, when we talk about essential workers, so if we had to categorize the essential workers in the church, the media team are the essential workers. We couldn't do anything at this point without media and without technology.
Right.
One of the things that I have been blessed with at our church is that our church for years had been accustomed to streaming. So it wasn't a gigantic change or leap when we primarily had to encourage people to just stream into the service, even though they could still come. Technology, of course, is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I think that there are going to be some people in our congregation who are going to primarily engage through technology going forward. I think that it's going to, in some ways, make it challenging for some people to commit to one church because you can go to 20 churches now on a Sunday morning. You can hit this church for the singing and hit this church for the prayer and hit this church for this sermon and this one for that one and this, that, and the other. So we got some work to do to remind people of the value of committing to the local church. So as much as I love technology, I am concerned that technology is going to begin to create a false sense of community, that it's going to begin to create a false sense of community. And that's a hurdle and an obstacle that I think people that are much brighter and smarter than me are going to have to try to figure out. But it is one of my concerns. Say it again, please.
You said people who are brighter than and smarter than you.
Much like, brighter and smarter than me.
Who would that be, Park? Who would that be? Okay, anyway, go ahead.
You all are so kind. So those are my concerns about technology. Some of my appreciation for technology is that you can preach around the world and not even leave your house. Everybody has a global ministry now. You can reach more people. You can connect with more people. You can get your message out to more people. So there are definitely some positive sides to it. We've got to, make sure that we are creating an opportunity for people to be engaged. So we need to do lower thirds, putting the words to the songs on the bottom of the screen, making sure that we're operating in excellence, putting our offering information on the screen in a way that is, respective of excellence, thinking about lighting, camera angles, and all of that. So we got some work we're going to have to do to keep up with it. I think there are a lot of pros to it, but I think there are also a few cons to it. But I certainly am very concerned that we're going to begin to see technology as a substitute for authentic community. And it just simply is not. We need everything that the church has to offer. We need the singing, we need the preaching, we need the praying, but we also need the hugs of the church mothers. We need the handshakes and the embraces of the deacons. We need the laughter of the kids. We need the pitter patter of the baby's speech. We need all of that. We need every single part of that. And it's going to be interesting to see how we get back to that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we're running out of time on radio, and that's the good part about this time, Bishop, is that most radio shows it ends when the radio goes off, but we keep going. So we have about, I think, 5 minutes left, and so with that said, what we like to try to do is give you an opportunity to allow the listening audience to know where you do ministry at, know how to locate you, know how to find you, and then in your own words, just share an encouraging word with the radio listening audience. As I said, we sign off the radio at 7 sharp, and then we continue on Facebook and with the after show. And so the after show, I wonder, the after show.
After show. I call it after party. That's not right.
They say after show. And so
Ohio players.
So if you would, at this time, as we get ready to sign off on the radio, just share where people that's listening on the radio could possibly find you, your ministry.
Yes, indeed. So on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'm very easy to find because it's Dr. Victor Cousins across all of those platforms. We'd love to connect with you. Would love if you would follow me on YouTube. It's official Dr. Victor Cousins. Would love if you would subscribe. Would just love to be a supplemental part of your journey. Located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Whenever you're in the greater Cincinnati area, come by and see about us. And my word of encouragement to you is very simple. Keep the faith. Just simply keep the faith.
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Bishop Cousins. Pastor Kurt, we got 3 minutes left. You can do
as always, Wednesday feeding, 2680 64th Avenue, right around the corner of Bancroft and 64th Avenue. Come there on Wednesdays. We open at 8 and give food away until it's gone. So see you then. Y'all have a great one. You can catch us at www.fbcoak.org. That's fbcoak.org here in Central East Oakland.
And once again, this is the One More Time broadcast. We have some great news to share soon. Coming real soon. We may share it tonight on the after show, but it's going to be a blessing. We're grateful that the Lord is breathing on this.
Yes, Lord. Please.
Broadcast. And so to you, our listening audience that's been with us for 29 weeks, we want to say thank you for sharing with another night and pray that you were blessed. And let me give this shout out as we get ready to close. Thank y'all for doing y'all part voting. Thank you for doing your part. As I started off by saying, the weight is off, but the work is on now. So much for us to still do so that we can start getting in the right direction. So with that said, thank you again for sharing the One More Time broadcast. We're getting ready to sign off. And because we had such a great show on last week and it went such a great way, I don't know. I guess I just like doing it or hearing it, but I'll probably strike it up again before the end of the month. The song entitled One More Time. But listen, we had a good time. I hope you had a good time. And I hope you catch us next time. A.L. Perkins, Harmony Church, One More Time broadcast. Take us out, Jose.
This broadcast is sponsored by the Harmony.
Jose.
All right. So now we're just on Facebook. Well, we've been on Facebook and YouTube, but we are now off the radio. And this is the raw and uncut, if you would say, that prayerfully, I think you'll be okay, Bishop. We have one question that we ask specifically when we go off the air to hear what this answer will be, and we give an award out. I don't know, is it an award?
I think you got it earlier.
He got it earlier?
No, you did.
I got it earlier.
Yeah, when you showed that picture of
I was trying to assist him in what he was saying. That's all I was trying to do. Did you read what it said?
Yeah. So Bishop, I don't know if you know Shane Scott.
No.
So Shane Scott is our good friend from the Bay Area, and he pastors in Los Angeles. He's actually Maxine Waters' pastor. And so he got on the show. And Pastor Perkins asked him a question. And so he reached back to the south side of Richmond and gave him an answer. And there was some 4-letter words in that answer. But he did admit that he was suffering from bipolar. So
yeah, he didn't take his medicine. So here's the question.
But in his honor, we have what you call the Shane Scott Award.
Shane Scott Award. His honor. Here's the question, Bishop. How do you feel about a preacher, pastor, preacher that has the opportunity to stand, has a platform to stand and preach consistently and does not preach on social justice?
How do I feel about a preacher? I'm trying to even fathom
the look on your face. Did you see the look on his face?
I did. His eyes lit up like.
I wish we could have took a picture of that, Bishop. The look on your face was rather perplexing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure how does one preach? How does that even happen? How does one preach the Bible and not preach on social justice? The first pastor in the Old Testament, Moses, this man is sent on a justice mission by God. He doesn't even get the 10 Commandments doesn't come till significantly later in the narrative. Moses' initial assignment given to him by God is, you go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. When we move into the wisdom literature, Proverbs, we all know Proverbs 31 and the virtuous woman. Well, in the verses preceding up to the virtuous woman, that text says, open up your mouth for justice and speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Open up your mouth and declare. And so then in the Psalms tells us that justice and righteousness are the foundation of the throne of God. Mm-hmm. So God's very throne sits on justice and righteousness. The first pastoral picture and example that we have in the Old Testament is one of justice. Proverbs 31, which we espouse so eloquently, leads into the virtuous woman with justice. Micah raises a question: what does the Lord require of you? Love justly, do mercy, and walk humbly with thy God. We get into the New Testament. One of the most familiar parables that Christ gives us is a parable of this woman who is persistently going before the judge demanding justice. And that text says the judge didn't care nothing about the people.
Right.
But he got so concerned that the Bible says that this woman was going to rail on him that he said, I better go ahead and acquiesce to this woman's desire. So it's unconscionable. It's ungodly. It is impossible to claim to be a preacher of the canon and not preach on justice.
Oh, that was wonderful. You know, it's interesting. He asked this question, right, of everybody. But Bishop, we're gonna tell you, man, it's like what we have found are regional answers.
Yeah.
Regional answers, man. Like the further south you go, it's like, well, you know, I preach Jesus, right? However, like you're north. You're like in Ohio, you're like, there is no question. You say in your book that discipline is the gift we employ for the mastery and stewardship of our talents.
Yes.
Could you expound on that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. It doesn't take much to be good, but it takes discipline to be great. And there are people who are marginally talented, but have disciplined themselves into greatness. Malcolm Gladwell has a book called The Outliers. Okay. And in his book, The Outliers, you have it, you've read it.
I read The Tipping Point.
Yes, and he has a book called The Tipping Point.
Yeah.
In his book, I believe it's in his book, The Outliers, he talks about how the Beatles arrived to stardom. And he makes the point that the Beatles did not arrive at stardom because they were the most talented band or group of singers in England, but it was that nobody would outpractice them. They they disciplined themselves to an endless number of hours of practice. Most basketball enthusiasts are familiar with Michael Jordan's story, how he was cut from his high school or middle school basketball team. He disciplined his way into greatness. And so I use an analogy, an illustration of a guy named David Boyce, who is rated as one of the #1 litigators in the United States of America. And the thing about it is the guy is dyslexic. He doesn't read well. He has his briefs read to him for the most part, but he has the tremendous ability to be able to recall things, and he has a tremendous way of being able to process things. So he's able to go into a courtroom and with very little things written down, able to argue a case successfully. He has defended the United States government, Microsoft, the list goes on and on. This guy is great because he disciplined himself into greatness. And so if we aspire to be great, and it doesn't mean that we have to aspire to be greater than anybody other than great on our level, but it's not going to be accomplished or realized without the character trait of discipline. We know many people who are talented, but they're lazy. Even in our field of preaching, we know many preachers who are incredible preachers. And if they just discipline themselves a little more, if they just read a little more, if they just did a word study a little more, if they just, did some syntax work just a little more, got all of the mechanics. I mean, they could hoop the alphabet and clear out a pew, a half of the church, but no substance, no substance. That speaks to lack of discipline, no substance. And then we know guys who don't have much music in their voice. They're not interested in the traditional Pentecostal expression of hooping or apostolic Pentecostal experience, not interested necessarily in any of that, but will preach you and teach you into a fit just by rightly dividing the word of truth. Entirely nothing but discipline. And it shows up in every part of our lives. Nobody reaches any goal without discipline being a factor.
That's great. That's great. It's a good book, man. Chapter 4, you talk about embrace your humanness.
Yeah. And that was one of the more edgy chapters in the book. That was one of the more edgy chapters in the book. Interesting thing is that I actually hired a writing coach to help me to catalog and organize my thoughts. And it got to a point where I'm working with this writing coach, talking about my experiences and the things that I want to share. And they had it in their mind to write the book in one way, and I had it in my mind to write the book in the way that the book has been written. And they ultimately end up pulled out and asked me not to even tell anybody that they helped to work on the book, because they were just that set against some of the things that I wanted to write about. And one of the things I was intentional about writing about is how important it is that we embrace the fact that we are human, not using it as an excuse, but embracing that that's part of who God made us and part of how God made us. And to be in denial about it is to do ourselves a disadvantage, but to actually lean into it and become aware of it is to our benefit.
Mm-hmm. This is I could drop anchor, man, in this chapter right here, because I'm really trying to understand. I'm reading Harvey Cox's The Secular City. He is a retired Harvard theologian, but he wrote this book in 1960, right? And now,
Wow.
And in his introduction, this new introduction, he says, "May all writers live one day to celebrate the 50th anniversary of a book that they have written." But I'm trying to understand where America and the world is. The world, I think, is great with Christianity, right? I think that the only country right now that's struggling with Christianity is America. And I think a lot of it has to do with what Cox says, that we want to be a secular society, but there's a difference between secularism and secularization, and so, this human piece is, where we need to get it. And I think that you're trying to chip on that, right there. You will make mistakes, say stupid things, jump to conclusions, have irrational moments, endure stress, cry, struggle with insecurities, and perhaps even question your value at times.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing about it. Those are all things that we see espoused in some of the people that we read about in Scripture. Mm-hmm. We see Moses tell God, if you don't send me some help, just kill me. We see either send me some help or kill me. We see, Moses loses temper. He hits the rock instead of, speaking to the rock. We see Elijah after he has this great monumental victory on Mount Carmel. Then he runs and asks God to take his life. We see Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. And some translation says he was depressed. Some says he was in heaviness of mind, but he was so emotionally distraught that most translations agree the sweat poured down from his brow like great drops of blood. That's how emotionally distraught the Son of God was. And then he proceeds to negotiate with God out of going to Calvary. All because he's in heaviness. He's having a very, very human.
Let this cup.
Yeah. Let this cup pass from me. Can we work this out another way?
Option B.
Say option B. Man, that's a good one. Dr. Perkins.
I have
good night. Thank you. Be careful.
I've seen a couple questions that have come on, but I want you to kind of real quick, well, not quick, but just explain this picture and what this person means to you. We know the importance of partnering in ministry, and can you share how important it is to have the right person by your side to be to do ministry? And
that's another show, because that's a whole hour conversation. That's a whole hour conversation right there. I have to come back sometimes and share the story about how my wife and I came to be married. But here's what I will say.
Let me say this before you go. Before you continue, please know you will come back on another show. And please, I just want you to know that you will be coming back.
I will be glad to. But I will say this: my wife is she's incredible and amazing in her own right. I preached in Chicago today. She brought the word here at the Inspirational Bible Church today, and my phone has been going bonkers all afternoon about the amazing job that she did. She's Puerto Rican, and so part of their culture is they're very family oriented, and so she has certainly helped to enhance my overall family dynamic. But one cannot underestimate the importance of having the right and the appropriate mate in your life. The right or the appropriate mate will either help you reach your destiny or they will hinder you from reaching your destiny. And having somebody that you can grow with, because we're all growing, we're all evolving, we're all becoming, we're all coming into. And so having somebody that you can grow with and you can evolve with, and that will go through the changes of life with you, and that you can go through the changes of life with, is very important. And it's not just the spiritual dynamics. There has to be natural chemistry there as well. Because you can be great prayer partners with somebody, but not be able to figure out how to live with them. So it's important that we take the full picture and the sum total of all things in mind. I see some people in ministry, make this mistake of just grabbing someone because they feel like they need a spouse, or they feel like their church needs them to have a spouse or what have you. And those are shallow reasons for getting a spouse. It has to be that, first of all, God has put you and that person together. And if and since God has put you and that person together, then there's going to be dynamic chemistry across the board that's going to be able to serve you in all of the various aspects of your life.
Hey, man, that's great.
We had a couple questions, and this is what we normally do. Bishop, we take questions that people may have. And so one of the questions.
Her name is Abigail?
It is.
She's like, I see her on here. Oh, look at all them hearts.
One of the
that's excellent, man.
Questions that has come up is from Pastor Anthony Braxton, True Faith Church of Oakland, California. He says, do you believe that there is greatness in everyone? Do you believe there?
Yes, I do. I do believe that there's greatness in everyone. I don't think that we should compare our greatness to others, because I think comparison can be a trap and a principality. But I do think that there is greatness in everyone. And by that, I mean, all of us have room for improvement. All of us have room for getting better. And because all of us have room for improvement and all of us have room to get better, that right there says that there's something greater inside of every one of us than what we are realizing and displaying right now. We have this treasure in earthen vessels.
Yes, sir.
And it's an appreciable treasure. It's not a depreciating treasure. It is an appreciating treasure.
Man, cousins, it's okay. Yes, you can kill us, man.
Nah,
okay. I'm gonna talk about Bishop Payton some more.
I ain't got my clothes that I want to die on in.
No, we have died on this show. Brothers Freddie Haynes have killed it us.
Yes, he has. He did kill it.
Dr. Haynes is guilty for sure.
Man, listen, Cornel West has killed it us.
Cornel West killed us. He did, man.
Killed us cold, man. It's okay. It's okay, Doc. You from Chicago?
Listen.
Well, I just came from Chicago.
That's right. Well, I'm trying to put you in Chicago. Now I'm doing the reverse, right?
Trying to be an elbow.
I'm doing the LW Bolton reverse. Doc, why come I keep seeing you in Chicago? Chicago.
Man,
Want to talk about the book some more?
I want to throw
Okay,
this
go
out
ahead.
real quick just before you get to the book again. You have a D-Med earned.
I do. Earned.
Tell me about that school you went to.
Went to United Theological Seminary in Dayton. I came out in 2012. The name of my dissertation is Reclaiming the Apostolic DNA of the African American Church. And it was a wonderful experience, a grueling experience. And now my heart goes out to anybody and everybody that is doing a D-Min degree, because it is not for the faint at heart.
5,000 words, or 50,000 words? How many words? Something like that?
I forget how many words it was, but I knew that after I got finished with that, I didn't even want to write a check. I just wanted, like I said, I'm just going to use my debit card for a year, because I'm not writing nothing. I'm not writing no checks. I'm not texting nothing. I'm making phone calls, and I'm using my ATM card because I'm sick of writing.
Well, I'm in my PhD program right now, man. I'm in the dissertation stage.
Okay, where at?
Thank you. At Trinity Theological Seminary in Evansville, Indiana.
Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah. Thank you so much for encouraging my heart. Huh?
What program are you in there?
I am in their PhD program. So they have a PhD program. They have a D-Min program. And a PhD is like a research degree.
Very much so.
Yeah,
where D-Min is contextual.
Yeah. And so it's I'm gonna go ahead. I got until March. So all the class load stuff has been done. And I wanted to walk and talk is what I wanted to do. So whatever it does, I wanted to be boots on the ground in central East Oakland, get some social stuff done. I'm amazed I've gotten through the school, because the school is very conservative. You know what I'm saying? I'm Oakland Black Panther, man. I'm like Stokely Carmichael, Huey Newton, James Baldwinized, the whole not W.E.B. Du Bois. Got a whole bunch of cultural stuff up in me, man. But they have accepted me, right? And I have gotten some good grades. So when you were saying that, man, my heart was just getting heavy, like, Pastor Cousins, don't say them, because I know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
It's grueling. It's a grind, bro. It's a grind, man.
Yeah, but the beauty of terminal degrees is it is designed to help us to add to the body of work that already exists.
Yes.
So it's to their advantage to not only include you, it's to their advantage to embrace you as well.
Yes. I like that. You're top, man.
I'm laughing because I'm looking at these comments, and Lady Abigail is like, release my husband, please.
Wait a minute. Right. He just landed back in Ohio. Release my husband. We're sorry. Oh, you know what?
Let him go.
Lady Abigail, it's not my fault. It's Perkins. He did it.
I'll put it on me.
I'm throwing shade on my host.
It's still early. It's only 7:22 here.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all 3 hours behind us.
Wow, man. See, now I'm feeling bad. Let's bring it on in. Let's bring it on in. Bring it on in, man. That's
I love that, man. That's that point guard stuff, dude.
We'll just have her come back on the show too and keep both of them up.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. But I mean, it's been a rich night. I pray those that have been listening, that are watching, that you will take the time and for real invest in this book. I'm going to do it myself also. I think it's a good investment, and I think it's something good to build and put in your library. Information is on the screen again. Our administrator from Ohio has also put information in the comments. And so if you would like to purchase it, you can look either here on the screen or go to Bishop Cousins' website, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can scroll through our comments and just tap what Lady Abigail has put in the comments, and it'll put you right where you need to be to purchase the book. It's been rich, it's been real, for sure. And you'll definitely, prayerfully, you'll consent to come back.
Anytime. I'd be glad to come back.
Man, yeah, we gotta, yeah. I like that picture, man. I gotta get one of those, man. You look all lasered up.
Too lasered up. Almost over lasered.
It's like over laser. You know, like that movie Overgo. I'm gonna get you sucker. He got over lasered, man.
Look, she put it in again. I tell you, she on point. She need to be on the staff.
I see it, man.
But to our listening audience that have been faithful listening to us these past 29 weeks, we have we started off real slow with this show. It was dropped in our lap, and I mean, we might as well go ahead and say it, Kurt. I mean,
go ahead, man. We got Bishop on the show. He's gonna prophesy on us.
Well, yeah, he can prophesy over us. He can pray for us. You can do that. Strong man of God, I know that for sure. And but we are happy to announce tonight. This is breaking news. It hasn't even been shared with anyone else yet. The Lord breathed on this show some 29 weeks ago, and the platform that we had was a good start, and we're not leaving that platform, but we're happy to say that on the 1st of December, what day is that?
That's December the 6th.
December the 6th. You'll get some more information about it, but December the 6th at 3 p.m. on the Sunday afternoon, we will start up live the Perk and Kurt show on gospel1190am.com. And you that's in the Bay Area, you know that's like major for the church community out here for us, about the only station that does anything pertaining to Jesus 24 hours a day.
Awesome.
Minus KFAX. So we had a meeting last week. We'll meet again on Tuesday to put some other stuff in concrete, but it'll be the Perk and Kurt show right now, tentatively right now, where we keep it clear. We keep it clear, but we want to say thank you to those that have been supporting us. You know, I've said it before, we don't get a check from this. We do this just out the love of our heart for the people, because the initial goal, the initial reason we did this is that we wanted this to be a platform for parishioners and people to hear, you know, what's going on with this COVID. We want to be able to be a resource if you needed groceries, if you needed food, if you needed testing, whatever you needed, that you can hear something live, if you will, every Sunday night, as we've been trying to do these past 29 weeks. And so we'll have the wonderful opportunity now to come to you at 3:00 in the afternoon every Sunday. Ain't no afternoon services, so y'all gonna be at home.
No, none.
But we
They're gonna be somewhere.
Thank the Lord. And they do have an app, so even if you are out, you can download the app and still be a blessing to the broadcast. And so we just grateful tonight that God is smiling on us, and
right.
We have a great guest lined up for that first night. That some of you, do you want to say or you want to wait?
Let
it wait a little while.
Let it wait a little while. We got and Bishop, I'm gonna tell you, man, that the Lord bless, and we got a dynamic guest and got a sponsor right out the gate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got a sponsor right out the gate, man.
Yeah.
Just like that. Just so like that.
Excited.
It's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal.
Pray that y'all will support us on the Perk and Kurt show. And
look at mom say, amen, Perk and Kurt, to God be the glory.
Yeah, mom's always supporting.
And thank you, Lady Abigail. She's like, yeah. So Bishop, you're gonna come back on that one, man.
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Yeah.
And
it's every week.
Every week, just like this one. So we're gonna do that one every week at 3, and then go do this one every week at 6.
Y'all on y'all way, just few cities over to LA, and y'all going to Hollywood in a minute. Oakland ain't gonna be able to hold y'all.
Man, we in Cincinnati. I want to go to Cincinnati, man.
Remember, it's Cincinnati, not Chicago.
Right. Cincinnati. All I want your wife to be mad at me talking about, no, not him. No, he ain't the one. Like,
not CH.
throw some shade on him, man. Oh, man, that's great, man.
Man, thank you for your time, no, Bishop.
I appreciate y'all having me. It means a lot. I know there are people that are lined up to get on this show and this platform with you all. And I'm not saying that to simply try to flatter you all, but I know that to be the case. So it means much to me
Thank you,
that
man.
you all would trust me with this time, trust me with your viewers, and trust me with your audience. And I shall never forget having had this time with you all. And I'm at your disposal and would love to come back and share again in the future.
I'm loving that. I'm in, Hunter. You're a great guy. And shame on you, Bishop Payton.
I will say this for those that have downloaded the book or got the paperback copy of the book. If you would be so kind as to go to Amazon and leave a positive review, that would help me out tremendously.
You got it.
And prayerfully, when Auntie Rona leave us alone, and it's good to get on flights again.
Auntie Rona,
we gotta bring you to Cali. You and the wife.
Be glad to listen. Y'all can have a second citywide. There's no prohibition against having preaching. One. You can have one every 6 months. Have two.
Hallelujah. Azusa 4.
Perk and Kurt, citywide.
I like how you roll, Bishop.
Perk and Kurt, citywide revival. Perk and Kurt, citywide revival. Don't wait. Just take dominion over that principality. Don't let nobody hold you back. Just lift your hands down. Take dominion over that principality.
Hallelujah. I receive it. I receive it. Hallelujah. I love this bishop right here, man.
Yes, sir.
Make me remember your church. I'm joining right now.
Look, not before me. I'm sliding to
that. Oh, man, that's funny, bro. That's good, man. I'm good, man.
Before you go, you do. I've been following you for a while. You do a prayer, if I'm not mistaken, with another guy that I'm great fond of. Dr. William Curtis, Bishop John Guns. Can you just talk about that real quick?
Absolutely. So we've been doing it for years now. This might be like in his 5th year. It started with Dr. Guns, and he's a great friend of mine. And
we would love to have him on the show, by the way. We really would.
I'm sure he'd be glad to come. I can make the connection. But he's a great man, very committed to prayer, pastors a phenomenal church there in Jacksonville, Florida. And he started this, and he was flying solo with it for years. And then about 5, maybe even more than that, 5 or 6 years ago, he extended to me and Dr. Bill Curtis to come on board and co-host.
Also,
yeah, I'd be glad to make the connection and co-host and sharing the facilitator responsibilities with him. Since then, it's grown, and he's added 2 more people, Dr. Kimberly Credit and Akeem Walker. And so we pray together every Sunday morning at 7:20 a.m. What would be phenomenal is if we had a West Coast version of that, because of course 7:20 a.m. for us is 4:20 a.m. for you all. But I'm sure he would be very open to having a West Coast version of that. But for pastors that want to get up on Sunday morning at 7:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're more than welcome to join us. I'm going to give you all the call-in number here, and we would be glad to have you. We start with the devotional, and then after the devotional time, we generally go into prayer, and each of us have a different week that we are responsible for. So today was actually my day to either lead the prayer or to invite someone on to lead the prayer. And we've had many of our fathers in the faith to come on and lead us in prayer and do devotional. Many of our mothers in faith have done the same thing. And it just really is an amazing move of God for pastors to be able to come together for devotion and prayer on Sunday morning. So for those that are interested in calling in. Again, it's every Sunday morning at 7:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The number is 605-313-5110. 605-313-5110. And the access code is 262-425-pound. 262-425-pound.
Awesome. And guess what time I get up in the morning?
Hey,
What time?
that's right.
4.
That's what time.
Every morning?
During the week, Monday through Friday. And
What time you get
Sundays, and Sundays too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was up this morning at 4. I used to work in the corporate world, and had to be in the office at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So 4 o'clock
Well,
was
you
like
up,
something
so
I
you
just carried.
definitely, call in. We'd be glad to have you
Man,
on.
I'm calling in because I feel your spirit, man. The book is good. You got a great spirit, and I don't know why you ain't tell him he was preaching, Greg. I'll get you. I know he don't like that.
Yeah. I wonder if he's watching. He's not on Facebook though, is he?
He too good for all that, dog.
That's why we're gonna make sure he get this one though.
He stay behind the veil, dog. He don't come out the veil.
Now I'm not
gonna make sure Bishop
that.
get this one. He gonna get this
not
one.
Getting into that.
I'll invite him right now. I got his email address. What you want? I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him tomorrow.
I will too. He gonna think something's wrong.
I know he is. What you talking about? I'm gonna call him. We love you. I love you, Greg. I just want you to know, brother.
Yeah. Well, I try to call and encourage him too, though.
No, I call him early. He's like, "You calling me early for?" Cuz. But man, right. I'm good, man.
Anything you want to say to the listening audience? We still got.
Look at your wife, man. Put the numbers down here, bro. I'm sitting looking at it right now.
We got to sit there and check, bro.
For real, too.
Yes, indeed. I got a good one.
Yeah.
She's gonna make sure I'm well covered.
She on point.
Yeah, she's gonna make sure I'm well covered. For those that are interested in my book, you can go to Amazon and search my name, Victor Cousins, and it will come up. My last name is spelled Couzens. The title of this book is Lessons Learned the Hard Way. You'll see my first book on Amazon as well. But the title of this book is Lessons Learned the Hard Way. It's available. Yeah. There it is right there in ebook version and, of course, in paperback version as well on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find me and friend me and follow me at Dr. Victor Cousins. And it has been a joy and a privilege for me to have this time to share with you all. And thank you all so very much for having me.
Hey, it's been real, man. I thank you again. Yeah. Thank you, Lady Abigail.
Yes, ma'am.
He's on his way home, all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, man.
On the good side.
Man, that's all we have, bro. And thank you for sharing.
Well, I appreciate you gentlemen so much. And thank you again for having me. I can't wait. What's the app to listen to your show?
KDYA.
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 So, hey, is she listening? Gospel1190am.com.
Did she do that? Really? She did it already? Yeah. Wow. She's hired.
1190am.com.
Okay. I'm going to download that app and I'm going to be looking to hear you all first Sunday in December at 3:00 your time, 6 mine.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank y'all so much for having me.
All right. Thank you,
Bishop. I love you, man. Thank you so much. All right. Peace. All right. All right, brother. Another great show.
Hey, that was rich. You know, we still live, right? It was rich.
I know.
It was rich. It was real.
Yeah, but he was tired, man. He just got off the plane and stuff. But he was a trooper for doing it, man.
He that's a bad bro right there.
Yeah, man.
Bad bro right there.
Yeah, he's a good. And I want to check out his he said his other. He got another book too. I'm going to check that one out too. You know what I was thinking?
We should try to. I'm gonna start a library for all the recommendation of books we've been
I
getting.
know.
And I know we didn't got at least 15 to 20 already with the guests that we have.
We have
Because he mentioned
Bert.
that 2 or 3. No, I'm gonna pick up for sure.
Yeah, he mentioned this other guy, Simon Sinek.
Yeah,
Simon,
I got it.
I don't know how
It's start with Y, WHY,
yeah.
and it's supposed to be a pretty good book. I pulled it up too. So we'll go. Thank you, Gregory West, for watching the show. Appreciate you. To all of y'all that's watching, we thank you for chiming in and watching with us. Pray you'll continue to follow us and like and share and all that good stuff. And look forward to what the Lord is going to do.
Yes, we really appreciate it. And it was a good show. Thanks, Braxton. Braxton was like, congratulations. Yo, thanks, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of people trying to get my most faithful member, Debbie Ignat, was on there. She always pastor support. She support the pastor for real. But man, I'm it's what the scriptures say in 1 Corinthians 2. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. Although he says it as it is written, so he was mentioning Isaiah 4 when he
right.
God was going to deliver him, but we don't know what God has in store for us, man.
Gregory West, Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, that's where you from?
That's what he said. Man. So I know about Mobile. Matter of fact, I got baptized. Brother, I got baptized in Mobile. I was 8 years old at my Uncle Charlie's church.
Is that right?
Greater Morning Star. Was it Morning Star Baptist Church on Donald Avenue in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, Gregory West, if you in Mobile, my good friend who we had on the show in our first inception, Dr. Corey Brown, pastor of the Friendship Baptist Church.
In Pensacola, right?
It's in Mobile.
Is it Mobile? Oh, that's right.
Mobile. Yeah. I forgot who we had on with him. Oh, we had on Reginald Reed from Texarkana.
Okay.
Yeah, they were on together. But Mobile is where Dr. Corey Brown, my buddy, good friend. He's a California native.
Yeah. Did he know about Blunt High School? He said, Gregory West says, yes, I know the church.
Okay.
Yeah, like Blunt High School. You know who went to Blunt High School, right?
Who?
Marcus. No, he didn't go to Blunt. He went to Williamson.
You know what I was about to say?
Yeah, Marcus Russell.
Yeah, you know who went to where? He went to Blunt High School. Actually,
he went to Williamson.
Ask that question again. You know who went to Blunt High School?
You know who went to Blunt High School, right?
Black him out.
You know what, dude? I didn't catch that at first. No, man. No, watch this though. James Abner went to Blunt High School.
Is that right?
Yep.
Hey, that's a preacher.
Yep, Pastor James Abner.
I thought I heard he was going to retire or something.
Well, the COVID thing slowed him down. He was going to retire and move back down south.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked earlier this year.
Man, I heard that dude preach one day, and I was going crazy. He was killing us in the word.
Man, James, man. Oh,
great,
man.
I was like, this is a bad man right here.
Dude.
He was going down.
Yo, dude, he out of Antioch, R.T. George.
Is that right?
Yeah, R.T. George is his father in the ministry.
Okay.
Now that means that Todd Wheelock is his grandfather in the ministry. Wah, wah, wah. No,
gotta get the sound effects. That's what we gotta get. I'm
trying to work it out. It's like when we said like the show that we're doing, right? And so I was trying to cue this up right here. We're gonna get it. We're gonna make it work, right? Can you hear this? No. So I got my headset on.
Yeah, I can hear it. I heard it now when you unplug your headset.
Yeah, it's an art to this, man. But I think, man, the thing about it is that I just think our content and the guests that we bring on are just like super cool.
Yeah, well, we've been blessed because we haven't had nobody that kind of was like stuck up or nothing where we had to end the show early. Like, due to technical difficulties, you're gonna have to end at 7:20, at 6:20, and then once we get them off the phone, we come back.
Yeah. Now, hey, so West he says, I'm not from Mobile, about 30 miles south of Mobile. I pastor a church in Mobile.
Oh, really? Oh, so he's a pastor. All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got to get him on the show then.
Yeah. West, send us your stuff, man. Send us your email address or something.
Hey, Braxton, don't be calling me crazy.
I heard that, dude. I saw that, Brax. I saw that.
Pastor West, send us your information to our DM, either one. Just direct the message to send your information. We'll love to have you on the show, man. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for trying.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We really do.
Yeah.
For you that are listening, while we have you, since we've already shared our wonderful news, we will, because this will be a listener-supported broadcast, listener supported. So everyone that's listening, we would love for you to sow seed, if you would, into the ministry, that we'll be able to stay on, not only every week, but once a month as you see fit. So you'll be definitely about time. The first show we'll have digital something up, either Givelify or Cash App, where you can sow seed as you're led to. But we just want to give you the opportunity, if you would like to say that you were a part of this inaugural thing. I mean, this is this is what's getting me, man. Who would have ever thought that if you would have said last year, hey, Kurt, you gonna have a talk show. Knowing me, I probably would have cussed you out or something.
the Compton point guard, right? LBC point guard would have came out, right?
Like, man, shut up, man. What are you talking about? But this is the epitome of what 2020 has just been the thing.
Yeah.
That's why I can't say that 2020 has been all that bitter. I mean, there have been blessings in it. You just had to find them. You have to find them in spite of even negative things that have possibly happened. There's a blessing in all of it somewhere, somehow, man. And it's been, I'm just glad. If I ain't never listened to the Lord, I heard Curtis Robinson. I tell you that much.
It's like, listen, man. I'll put it to you like this. Oh, he said Bishop Cousins is his cousin. I'll put it to you like this, man.
Okay.
You called me, right? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Man, I mean, since we have about 13 minutes left,
right?
Let me share that story. Since y'all still rolling with us, we still got 18 people watching us, if you will, live.
Yeah, that's right, 18. That's right.
The faithful 18.
The faithful 18.
Let's hold it on till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll go watch Fargo. That's my show on Sunday night.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at this. I want to see what Antonio Brown did tonight. I got NFL replay.
Oh, I'm not gonna tell you that.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Okay, I'm not gonna say nothing at all because that's where my eyes have been. But anyway,
dude, I thought you was paying attention.
I was exactly. I was doing the other administrative part of
right. Yeah, just in case.
Share down, boy. I got that share down now.
Just in case. I got you. I got
music going. I got the pictures going. I'm doing cool and figuring this stuff out. But so this talk show really came from it was birthed from the Harmonies 6 o'clock evening broadcast. When this pandemic hit, we were really, to be quite just honest, we were going to cancel the broadcast because, we felt that we would have been paying money for something that we weren't really doing. I had enough sermon material to play, but I didn't feel comfortable playing sermon material from my first church under Harmony's name. I didn't want to do that. I didn't think that was just a proper etiquette or ethic thing to do. So um, the producers, trustees went and talked to producers, told them what their desire was to go ahead and cut the broadcast or whatever. Um, Andrea is her name at the at KST said, "Well, I want to talk to the pastor." I was like, "Okay." I go talk to the pastor, Kurt. She says, "Sir, I really don't go to church. That's my that much myself, and." Something a lot of people don't know about KST. KST is a radio station, multicultural. So they don't just play like KDYA. KDYA is just Jesus, 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 and then more Jesus. Well, KST play Buddhists. They play all kinds.
Right. They're multicultural.
Multi. And so the lady says, I really don't go to church or anything. But she said, too much is going on right now in our world where people need to hear something. And so she was like, I'm sorry, but I won't stop it. I'll keep it going. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, give me a little while couple days to think about it, and I'll come back. So I went and prayed, was like, Lord, I don't know what to do. And then the Lord was like, a lot of preachers all over the country. He's like, you can easily talk for an hour about what this pandemic is doing, how it's affecting us, how they're getting through with their churches, and then you can be a help. And so I call her back and say, can I still have an hour, live? She was like, yes. And I was like, how many call lines do you have? She was like, 3. I was like, well, I tell you what, we'll do a talk show. And so April 5th was the first pastoring through a pandemic talk show that we did, where it was the citywide revival presidents from as far as Sacramento to San Francisco. And that was the first show, and it started rolling good. And then I noticed I had about 5 people on at one time, and I was like, I don't think it really went well. It went okay, but it didn't go well because everybody's not really getting an opportunity to really talk a lot. And so then I said, I really don't want to do this by myself. And so this is where it gets interesting. I was like, Lord, I need a co-host. And this is what he says, Curtis Robertson. And so the first thing I say is, I don't know no doggone Curtis Robertson. Like, I know him, but I don't know him cool enough to say, hey, dude, would you come do this talk show with me? But he said it not 2 times, but he said it 3 times. And then that's when I was like, well, I guess I just need to go ahead and, in faith, go ahead and I reached out to you. And man, literally, the rest have been, somebody asked me, have we been doing this for years? And I was like, no. Doing this for, I said, a long time. He said, how long? I said, months. And he was like, lying, y'all chemistry is so good. But I was like, man, that ain't nothing but
that's funny, dude.
But the Lord,
Yeah.
And my desire was for the Lord to breathe on it. He breathed on it. And I didn't know that we'll have an opportunity to sign with KUIA gospel1190.com, which will now make our audience
wider, deeper.
Wider. Not only, and it's a major accomplishment, I feel, because the Black church community, that is the strongest station we have.
Yeah. For a long time. It was KDIA back in the day.
Right. And so when I sat and talked with Andy, the owner, man, pretty much it was like, hey, we can help each other. And when I shared what type of guests we have, and I told him there's not too many preacher pastors that's in their prime, top 50, that we can't get our hands on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I mean, who goes shoot you down when you say you had Dr. Cornell West?
Freddie Haynes.
Freddie Haynes, and
yeah,
man, and the rest was.
We've had some great guests on here, bro.
Hey,
Victor Cousins, man.
We've had some great shows where if people are listening, man, you can't say you left the show not being helped.
Right.
Blessed. I mean,
man, you know who we got to get on, man? It just hit me like a flash. He out there. He ain't listening. He gonna be listening. Dr. Manuel Scott Jr.
Oh man, I'm gonna call because you know what he needs. We need off record because he need a protege. He need a mentee. You know, he just got married.
I know, dude. I know.
I mean,
like Manuel waited till he was like 173.
I'm gonna send it to his Dr. Manuel Scott Jr. Dude. We are trying to ascertain you, and I'm going to send this to your DM, and I'm gonna call you tomorrow to see if we can get you on.
Yeah. No, he married a dentist, man.
Huh?
He married a dentist.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, hey, Braxton was one of the privy that had a personal invitation to go to the wedding.
Really?
That's Braxton partner.
I think you know what? I think it's the last time I saw Braxton. I'm not sure when Doc was preaching for McKnight over there in Berkeley.
Okay, he gonna be with us on Tuesday. He'll be there.
Okay.
For the promotion.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be cool.
Yeah, man.
So here we are, bro. We don't know where the Lord go take it, but I'm glad that He's taking it, and we just want to continue to be a resource to the people. So the listening audience, we gonna need your help. Ain't no more afternoon services, so you can't say you was in worship, eating, drinking.
So hang out with us.
Y'all can just kick it with us for an hour from 3 to 4, or just spend the whole Saturday evening with us. Because when we come off at 3 to 4, we gonna be right back on at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Doing what we do. But we appreciate you. I wish there was something we can do. Maybe we'll think of something to just to appreciate you, the listening audience, for just hanging with us, man. 29 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, it is.
It's one thing to say 29 days, but we've been at it for 29 weeks. That's pretty phenomenal.
And look, and it's expanding, and it's like going like getting wider and getting deeper, wider and deeper, man.
I waited on a call from NBC, you know, somebody like that.
Hey, you know, I have been on CNBC.
and to you out there that are entrepreneurs, to you out there that are pastors, we are on. I want y'all to hear what we're saying. We are a talk show that started from nothing. God has been with us and is with us. But, you know, I want to say this in a loving way. You know, you can be a sponsor, but we'll hook you up if you hook us up.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I'm saying. Because this is not something where, you know, because we're preachers and pastors that we balling out of control and, you know, the bill is just tossed in the air and somebody catches it. No, this is a bill that we're going to have to pay. But, you know, if you want your church to be read on the air, if you got something going on and you're an entrepreneur, you want your business read on the air, you know, get us a DM. We can work a price out that's flexible for you.
Yeah, guess what? We got a sponsor. The Lord gave us a sponsor out the gate already. Like the guy was like, "Yeah, I want to do it." I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, so you know it's about business.
That's what's up.
You know, so you know, man, I'm gonna go grab something to eat, watch my show, and man, I just appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too, my brother. I love you too, man.
Too, man, and you know I'm praying for you and your wife, and
man. Likewise for you too.
We go ride the wave. That's what we go do.
Let's go.
Sunday morning, I'm gonna be on that call. I don't know about you. Hey, let me tell
Oh
you.
yeah,
William,
I got it.
William Curtis was on my list. I'm telling you that now. He's in Pennsylvania. That's a bad man, Dr. William Curtis. And
Yeah, I
John,
saw him on J Lo's show with Dr.
Dr. Claiborne.
Claiborne Lee. Yeah.
John Guns, he was on my list too. Them some good guys right there. And if we can ascertain them, it's gonna continue to keep our show at a certain integrity and a certain level. So
Right.
excited about that, brother. And with that said, it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Time to go.
All right. Peace. See y'all later next week.
Thank y'all, listening guests. We'll see y'all next week, 6 o'clock.